Which today comes from Mr. H. Poirot.
Oh,
thank you, Mr. H. Poirot. Father Simon, Father Matt, Sister Susie. I'd like to confess about an incident that occurred a couple of years ago. The story begins with my local church, a beautiful community-based church with links to the local school, which my children attend. There's a good mix of young families and older members of the community, along with many members and volunteers from the Scouts and Girl Guides groups. Myself, my wife and my children have been regular attendees for a number of years and have always enjoyed the services. Unfortunately, due to the COVID pandemic, church services obviously were stopped and were conducted over Zoom every week. They were brilliantly run by, They were brilliantly run and my children thoroughly enjoyed the Sunday school group online. I'd like to ask them that. I will listen to the stories of a wide variety of religious crafts, such as we made a Noah's Ark out of paper plates.
Wow.
And toilet roll sheep. And as the Lord is my shepherd, whilst finishing their breakfast, having quickly got dressed for a 9 a.m. start. This was all church on Zoom. Following one Sunday morning service on Zoom in mid-December, the congregation were invited to attend a Christmas Zoom quiz the following Thursday. I've always been an avid quiz fan, taking inspiration from a close friend of mine who takes part in the local quiz league and had appeared on numerous TV quiz shows.
Wow.
Due to the lockdown, my quiz friend and other friends of ours based all around the north of England would meet up on a Zoom quiz every Wednesday night and have some fun, few drinks and a good catch-up, as we wouldn't see anyone else all week due to having been confined by the four walls. We remember it well. Having done a weekly quiz for several months at this point, I was feeling pretty clued up, really, on the quiz rounds, covering many areas of general knowledge, ranging from Star Wars anagram rounds to 90s Britpop and famous Belgians.
Wow, that's really good.
That's a short round. The Thursday Christmas church quiz soon came round, and I was quietly confident, as I'd just been involved in a Christmas quiz the night before with my friends. 8 teams, including myself, turned up to the church quiz night. I fancied my chances and called my team the Legends. Other team names were the imaginative Bob and Margaret, the Christmas Crackers, and It Looks Like Reindeer. The questions were set by the church reverend and his wife. I'm not going to do it again. Also present was the reverend of the church, twinned with our church, who called his team Foregone Conclusion. To be honest, I was miffed with the arrogance of this man and his team name, and my competitive streak came out, determined to beat him and display my superior general knowledge at all costs. Round 1 went well, as it was a picture round, which involved naming the Christmas film. All was going well. I was neck and neck for the lead with Foregone Conclusion, but knew I might have a challenge on my hand. Round 2 was a music round, having to name the Christmas #1 hit. It was handy that from the quiz the night before, I'd been asked some of the same questions as this round, and I took an exciting 2-point lead. Things were looking up, and the twinned church reverend was starting to sweat. However, the final round was about Christmas and the Bible. Although I attend church regularly, I'm not a deeply spiritual man and didn't fancy my chances now, as this round was likely to have been Foregone Conclusion's specialist topic. If he was ever going to participate in Mastermind, these would be his topics. I knew a few answers, but was struggling with a few questions. I have to say, I couldn't lose now. I'd come this far. I used my phone a friend, or should I say I Googled to find 2 or 3 answers, just to give me an extra edge. I got the extra edge. Noah's wife is called Emzara, and there are 66 books in the Bible. The last round finished, I scored 7 out of 10. And my now bitter rival had scored 8 out of 10, which means I'd won by 1 point. I scoffed that a reverend didn't know all the answers to the religious questions. This meant I'd won the quiz by 1, and I was awarded an amazing prize of a bottle of spirits. That'll be a bottle of Holy Spirits. At this point, Foregone Conclusion had steam coming out of his ears, as if all of hell's wrath had been unleashed. Mr. H. Poirot overwriting at this point.
Yeah.
I felt terrible, but didn't have the heart to tell anyone until now. I seek forgiveness from the Almighty and to all the other quiz teams who participated that evening, who must know that I am really, really, truly sorry, whether you believe me or not. I'm not returning the spirits. Sister Susie, not in the pub.
Well, Mr. Poirot,
The thing I have here is if you'd have Googled something in my pub quiz, you would have been barred
It's
from
the
the pub
thing that
quiz.
you can't do.
You just can't do it.
Put your phones away.
Put your phones away. No Google, no Shazam. So no thank you. I do not forgive.
Brother from another gazette.
I mean, am I alone in thinking it's not really fair for, to have a round about the Bible when you've got a reverend?
It's the
I
church
think,
quiz.
I mean,
It's the church quiz.
but the reverend will have
Christmas.
read the Bible.
You go to church, you should know the answers.
Well, I'm going to say it's definitely weighted in his favour. And maybe, didn't quite prove to be quite as infallible as he thought, did he, the reverend? Or the Pope? So for that reason,
Yes.
I choose to forgive.